Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to start cleaning it up and getting it ready so that I don't have to do it on the day that I want to prepare it to cook. And what I'll do is I'll just go right under the skin, because remember, I want to leave as much much meat as I can on this. So what I do is I cut it away, and see how there's very little meat right there? See that right there? It's just a thin layer of it. This stuff is super tough and will not render, will not cook. So I'm getting rid of it. Now I just go under the skin, and then I just hold my knife up at an angle, and I just drag it along and take off that piece of silver skin. And then I go back and do the same thing in reverse. This way, these are real quick cooks. What I'll do is I'll typically reverse sear this. More honestly, I'll just smoke it. Take it to about 125 or so, and then maybe do a reverse sear on it. Sometimes I'll sear it before I cook it, traditional way. And then I do all kinds of seasoning experiments with it, beef seasonings and stuff like that. So I have kind of different profiles that I can, cook to do something different. Like, see, I'll flip this over and I'll find out where that is, and then I'll just kind of take it out right there. But go underneath and just run that piece of silver skin, get it out of there. There's not much there, see? Again, every piece of meat that comes off is less than we get to eat, and just drives the price up. What I'll do is, this was 14.8 pounds, so near 15 pounds. And what I'll do is, when I'm done, I'll weigh the trims, all of this junk. And then, by the way, this is all junk. This is all, I cut the tips off because the tips are just going to burn anyways. So what I'll do is I'll actually take that, see, and I'll just cut that little tip off and just kind of square it off. But what I'll do is, it was 14, the whole bag was 14.84 pounds, and I'll weigh the difference, and then I'll recalculate the price I paid, which this was right at, I believe, $6.09 a pound at the UF Chef store. So I'm already getting a steak that's literally better than a ribeye. Whenever it comes to the meat, it's just a really nice meat that is just so easy to cook. So then this side here, same thing. I'm going to find that silver skin. I'm just going to take it, run it, try and stay away from that meat as much as possible. Just a little at a time. I've been at this for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, yeah. And see, that's good fat right there. I don't necessarily want to take that, but the problem is it lays on top of this silver skin, which is this stuff right here. And this is just a membrane that, well, this membrane would cook off too, just fine. And the fat on top, that dense looking, flat looking fat like that right there, that'll cook off. But the problem is it cooks off, and then you have this piece of silver skin. And whenever the butcher butchers these for individual sale, they cut all of this off, and you're left with just the meat. So I'm basically doing what the butcher does, and I'm saving money, because instead of paying $9 a pound for one of these, I'm paying $6 a pound, but I'm doing the work. This is sadly not going to survive, so we'll just take it off, get rid of it. That's the ones you don't like to cut off, but they have some tails hanging on here and there. But and then I'm using a Victorinox 6-inch boning knife. My most favorite knife, very inexpensive, around 25 bucks. I prefer the wooden handle, even though they can tell you in food industry it's not sanitary. Doesn't really matter. I clean mine just fine, but I'm also not cooking for the masses. Maybe some friends and family, but not the masses. Ah, that was a little too much. Don't look. That was not pretty. It was way too much. But again, so this is the good fat right here. And like I said, I can leave it on if I want. But I usually just clean it up, make it look pretty. Because again, what Bobby Oliver teaches us, pretty food wins. And I argue pretty food eats better because it sets the expectation of the person eating it to have a good meal. Kind of like the very innocuous smoke ring that serves no purpose but serves all the purpose in the world when it comes to people setting their expectations through their eyes as to what the food's going to taste like. And it does help. So anyway, there's one doll trimmed up. So as you can see, it's not really that big. I mean, it's right at a pound. Some of them are a little bit smaller. I say that, but I can't find one. This one's a little bit smaller. What I'll do is a bigger one I'll package individually, and the smaller ones I package two to a package for Lori and I, because like I said, I can pull these out. I can have these de-thawed in 45 minutes, you know, from the freezer and ready to go, you know, on the grill in less than an hour, you know. So, but anyways, so here's the finished products, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh them, weigh the excess, and I'll tag that in here too.